Hello? Hello. Hello and welcome to the Astropub, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul, Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here tonight, and this is the Captain's Table. It's kind of an international version of the Captain's Table. We've got some new faces here. We've got, I'm going to have to put the names in because my XSplit has decided to derp really hard right now with this number of cameras and such like that. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with it. But I did have to reinstall Zoom, so it's probably something that has to do with that. But anyways, we have, at the top, we have Tobatage, Barry, the bear.
Hello.
Next to him, we have Miserable.
Hello.
Is it pronounced miserable or miserable?
Miserable.
Miserable. And below him, we have Hawk.
Hi, guys.
And next to Hawk, we have the missing... I'm gonna mess up his name again. It's Jesper?
Jessifer.
I'm gonna start adding the text to this stuff real quickly so I could get you guys to put the name so I don't forget everyone's name. And then of course we've got who's this guy? What is his name again? It's Ray something, right? Pierre.
Right.
It's Pierre. That's right. It's Pierre. Meyer, Tess, of course, underneath me, as frequently. Yes, my wife giggled at that. Jessifer, he spells it Jesper.
Gesfr.
Okay.
Like Lucifer, just shorter.
With a J.
And there's Jesper. We are now live. Oh gosh, and I pulled everything around. See, this is the reason why we didn't have the titles. Anyways, so today, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about, well, everything. Yeah, for those of you who are new to the Captain's Table in chat, how this works is whatever we kind of want to talk about, we talk about. We don't really have a script to go by. We just kind of talk about what's new, what's interesting. If we want to do some theory crafting, we'll do that. And if you have questions yourself, if you want to ask us, ! Question in chat, we'll get you that link. So, welcome again, everybody from all over the world. So first off, is anyone here going to Gamescom?
Yes. I do.
So you're going to Gamescom? Maya, are you going?
Nah.
No. You're going though, Toby,
just
right?
There,
Well, you just did go to BritizenCon, so that was kind of an expense.
Yeah.
How about you?
I probably would have gone if I knew about the whole Star Citizen thing earlier, so I would have had time to plan and stuff. But I'll leave it to Supreme and the rest of the guys to go there and to be there for me.
To be there for you in spirit. Oh, yeah. And Toby, you got your tickets, right?
Yes, I got Gamescom tickets for Friday, Saturday, and also for the event.
And are you going, Miserable?
No, I went to BritizenCon, but it was a bit the same with Maya, actually. When they said they weren't going to do anything at Gamescom, it kind of didn't really plan for anything like that.
Yeah.
All right, so excuse the giant texts on here. I'm going to try to get everyone's name in. There we go. So first talking about around the verse. Those damaged states, though.
It's all right.
Oh my! Yeah. Okay.
It's all right.
Amazing.
I mean,
Understatement of the century.
Yeah.
I still need to get my wet pants back
From the cleaners.
Wow.
Oh man, I'm sure it's somewhere in the inside that rack somewhere. You know, that's got to be where it is.
Right at the start, I think.
Is there anyone? Is there any kind of reactions to that other than like you guys have any like Face melting mire. Yeah.
To me, it wasn't. I wasn't sure that how far they were with all those special effects, both the sound as well as the visuals, and in combination with the location. Yes, it was just awesome and really mind blowing.
I loved all the research that they did into it. Like if you play Arena Commander and stuff like that now, when you destroy a ship, regardless of the kind of ship it is, it blows up, it goes into flames, that's what happens. I love that he's gone into research, as to larger ships, these frigates, these sunken ships, etc. And he's used them as kind of source material as to what would happen if this huge ship got destroyed. It's not going to burst into a ball of flames, And I really like that they've done that. And hopefully they might translate that down to the smaller ships. So that, when your ship gets destroyed, when your constellation gets destroyed, you don't just go, boo, that's the end, Hopefully,
that's kind of what we've got at the moment, isn't it? It's like the part of the worry. It's like at the moment, the ships just blow up very quickly and into nothing. And we're supposed to have scrap mechanics and, salvage and everything else. And at the moment, you're not going to salvage anything from the wrecks. So it'd be quite interesting to see that implemented down the line to the smaller ships, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're also dealing with something they're going to be doing down the line, in the same way that they said that it wasn't going to be in or verse. They said it's not like a procedural damage state. These are just kind of there's two damage states. There's pristine, and then there's screwed up beyond belief. The beautiful destruction that we saw. Earlier.
These wrecks. Yeah.
So. They went on to kind of transition states between them and all that kind of stuff. But I think, the lighting, I want to see that lighting in game for everything. That lighting and sound work was amazing. I thought
the sound makes the part a lot as well. It's surprising how much sound effects actually really affect the atmosphere and the mood when you go into because even Kovalex, the first time we went and did that, and you start listening to the data pad and it's all kind of creepy and quiet, the sound effects really make a big difference.
Yeah, and the sound effects weren't obtrusive. They were noticeable, but they weren't, up in your ears, and you couldn't avoid it. But it was subliminal almost, all the little bleeps and together with the red light flashing, and so the alarm that was just so creepy.
Yeah, they really added to the scene without being the scene. The scene was everything put together, not this one alarm going beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
It all adds together.
They take very good reference, too. They inspired by Alien, Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
It's classic.
Yeah.
Good ones to be inspired by.
I had a very, Star Trek the movies feel for it when they were getting damaged. Maybe it was just the text on the screens. It felt very much like the destructive... destruction states were very raw and visceral, and everyone loves that. But the overall, I can't help but think that there's a freaking a xenomorph somewhere.
Oh yeah.
In those pipes. I get flashbacks from Alien Isolation. Nope. I'm not in here. Nope.
That would be so much fun if they just put
it. Yeah.
If they put a duel just for the ATV, put the Ven duel in there and just jumping out of the cam.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh my.
Even if
I'm already wet.
Hockey, you're wet for other reasons.
Already or again.
Yeah.
Maybe again.
Even in the Xenomorph, just having a proper Rambo style Van Duel hiding around doing all these guerrilla warfare tactics, Predator style, in that ship, you're where is it coming from? That would be pretty ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, they at one point they did say that they wanted to do a Alien style tracker, add that into the game.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll be a thing. And that would be an amazing moment of seeing these creatures coming out of the walls towards the various players that are involved in that. But I think the one thing that this does bring up very well is the how to put this is the are Rex going to have to I feel like they're going to have some sort of level of danger to them, in order for them to be impactful. You know,
So I think they're going to need something, definitely, because otherwise, well, it just adds to the entertainment of actually going to wrecks and, discovering them a bit more.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully there will be some level of detail to wrecks and stuff like that. I mean, I've seen mention before of ghost ships and stuff like that in the game, but hopefully it's not just, you're going into a wreck, you're like, oh, I know, this is an Indris wreck. These are the rooms that are going to have loot, blah, blah, blah. I would hate for it to be metagamed so easily. So hopefully there'll be some randomization, there'll be, some element of danger, so that when you go there, if you touch this, you might blow up, there might not always be loot, hopefully they do make it more, like, rich.
Yeah, more interactive, and maybe with the AI and subsumption to have some algorithm behind it to trigger events.
In the same way, it should they were going to do they did research on looking at things like underwater and in different atmospheres. So it'll be interesting to see the wrecks in different positions as well, like so on planet side, or wrecks in space like you see already in Yellow and things like that. So it'd be interesting to see how that would affect the atmosphere it's been kept in. Would affect the wreck as well.
That would be so nice.
Speaking of subsumption, did you guys read the monthly report yet?
Yeah.
Did you see?
Except the music part.
I love the discussion on subsumption that they were doing with ATX, like the mission system.
Yes.
Like if you haven't seen, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching this live, go check out the monthly report right now. It is a really good read, and especially the top when they're talking about the subsumption, it's insane. Like they're planning on doing. It's like there are different states in the missions, and it's not just the missions for the PU, but also the missions for Squadron 42 are going to have the same kind of mission scripting inside of them, and it's all part of the subsumption system. So I don't know, it looks pretty cool to me. It's like the whole like as you said, like having the AI actually coming in and being able to be dynamic depending on the wreck, like having AI live on the wreck and that kind of stuff. It seems like that's part of like if then kind of like the flows.
Same way they said that they would react to like possibly what you're wearing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes.
So you mean you think that the same wreck could react differently in globally to one player getting in compared to a player going in an hour later?
Yeah, like.
So the AI may differ the scenarios then.
Yeah, essentially. So like if a player comes in and raids this place and doesn't kill any of the like little buggers that happen to be inhabiting the ship, then nothing will happen, and it may not trigger, or may trigger something, or they may take one thing that they were using, and now suddenly those little buggers who are passive are now super hostile because some jerk came in and stole like eggs from a nest, and
so they could be like friendly aliens until someone pisses them off, and then all of a sudden they don't like anybody that comes to the wreck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I would love for multiple scenarios to be on the wrecks. So like, you may have an Idris wreck, but you might not have any idea what made that ship a wreck in the first place, It could be that the Idris wreck is near Yela, and so, the culprit is there, an asteroid, the pilot was an idiot, Or it could be that it's in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, it's in the middle of like a graveyard of ships, and like, why are there so many dead ships? And you go inside, and then there are pirates who have made this like desolate ship their base, and you have to like clear it out of the pirates and stuff like that,
Yeah, so you've got like you've got the outside interest, and not only you exploring on the wreck and the danger on the wreck, but you could be an ambush or anything like that is also around the wreck. Like,
exactly.
So hinting to, is it a trap? Is there still something lurking outside that's caused this thing to be a wreck?
Yeah.
Especially
the Expanse, yeah. Like
right,
that.
Yeah, and right now we only saw wrecks where we probably can't get into. There was only a Retaliator at Yella that you could board. So right now we only see all the shrapnel and the we can get to the to those boxes, but getting inside in a wreck is going to be really scary. and fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, quick question. Just on top of all of this, more recent Star Citizen stuff, do you think we will be getting 2.5 next week for live, or do you think it'll be later? What is your personal opinions? When we start on the opposite end, Hawk. What is your opinion? When do you think we're going to get 2.5 coming out? And
Next
why?
week. Of
On the
course, next week.
PTU, you mean?
Live.
Live.
Live
Mm,
before.
I say early next week.
Early next.
Not the week coming, the next.
The next week. Okay, so in 2 weeks. How about you, Jesper?
The same. Just before Gamescom.
Just before Gamescom?
Yes.
Meyer?
NDA.
Okay. Tobatesh?
I could say NDA, but I guess also before Gamescom, shortly before.
And
It's not a secret or something, just my personal estimate.
Yeah, I'm gonna say NDA. They haven't told me.
yeah. Miserable?
No?
Yeah, I
They told
part
us.
of NDA as well, but shh. But yeah,
We can't talk about it.
we can't talk about it. It was already out.
Many
you know
avocados
this?
here.
How about 2.6? Like we think there's maybe 2 weeks for
NDA.
live. How about 2.6 though?
I mean, what is going to
Oh,
be
wow.
coming in 2.6?
That's the
I mean,
question.
like-
Because I think that the only thing they've talked about with 2.6 is Star Marine.
Star Marine,
Yeah.
yeah.
Submarine, of
I
course,
imagine. Sorry, go on.
but Reliant, maybe?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah,
Reliant?
the Reliance.
Oh, the
I
Reliant.
think,
The Reliant's coming in 2.5, isn't it?
yeah, the Reliance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
You mean the Herald? No,
I had,
Herald.
yes.
Ah, ooh.
Make a mistake, yeah. The Reliant, yes.
You're
Since
right,
the time we speak about.
Yes.
Herald,
Okay.
maybe. Like, because we've heard that it's almost flight ready, and we've seen the interior.
It's almost
shots.
done now, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking a lot about the Herald, and then they kind of just went quiet about it, and then started talking about the Reliant a lot. They just all of a sudden said, "Oh yeah, the Argo is out. It's gonna be flight ready." So this is the first time we're getting 2 flight ready ships out at the same time. So I'm wondering if in 2.6 they're going to follow suit and do it again. In which case, I'm thinking the Dragonfly and the Herald.
Oh yeah, the
But that's just-
Dragonfly.
yeah.
Maybe, yes.
The Dragonfly might
Maybe
be of those.
the Caterpillar might be hangar ready as well. I don't know.
Yeah, Caterpillar sounds hangar ready by then. They mentioned that they were doing the finishing, the art parts or something like that.
Yes.
Every time you see it, it seems to be just near the end.
You just keep adding things.
Every time.
This caterpillar looks just finished. I'm sure videos ages ago it looked just finished. And you think that's going to be in the
One
hangar next
pixel
week.
at a
It's
time.
not.
One pixel at a time.
That's just Chris Roberts. Chris Roberts and like the team will look at it and be like, "Oh, yeah, to us, oh, it's done." And Chris was like, "You're missing this," and someone else will be like, "Oh, you're missing this point, and you're missing this," and you're just kind of like, "Oh my god,
Let's add
man,
another 6 more modules to it. As
Yeah.
well.
Not enough capital.
it's not big enough." Especially if it goes to Squadron 40 or to Foundry 42. It's not big enough. Make it bigger.
I need more scratches on the door.
It fits in the hangar. That's certainly not big enough.
Oh god.
Speaking of hangars, so what with more and more bigger ships? How do you see the hangars growing in the near future?
That's a good
I
question.
thought they said that the Starfarer was going to be the biggest ship left to be able to be in your hangar. I'm sure that's what they said, but
Inside,
don't
yes.
quote me.
So
Well, big
for
ship
the-
would be
Inside,
outside.
yeah, for an inside
Yeah,
one, yeah.
I think they'll still do the
Well-
outside hangars. I still think they'll be doing the outside hangars. Like they'll have to build something similar. If they don't, then
Yeah.
like how are you gonna like I know Idris's really won't be stored in a hangar, but at the same time, like how are you going to store a
Merchantman Banu.
yeah, the Banu, like the Banu Merchantman is huge
Yeah.
compared to the
Yeah.
it's like it's at least a couple it's like 40 meters longer than the Starfarer, and it's probably much taller than the Starfarer because of that giant like gaping mouth it has at the bottom of it. So and yeah, I know that kind of folds in, but it's still pretty wide and tall because of the arms. But or even like the Caterpillar.
The Carrack is coming first.
Yes.
Yeah, the Carrack. We've got the Carrack, the Caterpillar. Both of them are bigger than the Starfarer.
Yeah.
And the Banu Merchantman, which they've hinted at a couple times, which is, CIG, don't do this to me. Stop cock teasing me. You can't leave me with blue balls.
So you think they're going to give us an outside hangar to when they start releasing these, or do you think it's going to be in the persistent universe? Well,
they have to have it in the hangar somehow, because we have to have the ability to get onto it and
eventually,
customize that kind of stuff. There has to be some way for us to customize it. It can't just be like, hey, call it onto the pad. Oh, it's in pad 00. Now I have to fuck with everything now, because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But the other thing I was going to talk about was
if they have outside hangars, what about visiting other players' hangars? I've seen more and more questions on streams about that. How current that
have a long
be.
time ago, wasn't it?
I think they're at the point where they could probably do it. The issue is persistence, though, because I think right now everything is still. Like when you go into your hangar, it's using your client side. It's not. It kind of rarely talks to the server. And going forward, if you're going to have multiplayer hangars, then the client and the server have to agree. So because you're going to have two people in there, and everything one client does, the server is going to have to say, okay, now it's the same for both people. So I think it's more of an issue.
I'm pretty sure the hangars are already persistent. I mean persistence.
But they save persistence after you leave it. Like you put it in there and you leave it, it'll connect to the server and say this is the new persistent state of the.
I don't think they're considered.
How do you make out the difference
of what you've got?
No, but how do you make out the difference? You're saying that is.
Well, what I'm saying is,
currently
are you sure about that?
Currently, you're playing offline, and then as you leave, it takes a snapshot and sends that to the server and says save it as that. I suppose is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, essentially.
I think that's how it works.
I don't know exactly how it works, but the thing is that you get better performance in the hangar than you would outside of the hangar than in the PU for that specific reason, is because it's more using client side. When you have multiple people in there, then if say you and I were in the same hangar, Toby, and you came in and you pulled a gun off of a ship, my client would also have to see that gun being pulled off a ship, which means that we both have to be connected to a server, and then that server would have to update so that my client could see it as well as your client. So it becomes a little bit more of a.
But right now we are only the single person in our own hangars. Yeah. So we don't know what is in the background. So I don't see why it couldn't be already the case that also the hangar is server driven.
I think it has to do with the server architecture, with the how everything's connected right now. I think that's the issue.
I think my hangar.
There's no other connection. There's only your ships basically and the hangar properties.
Right now that's the case.
Synchronized.
But eventually eventually they send the update. But if we had multiple people, then both of those people would have to see what's going on in real time. Because
true.
They both have to be connected to a server, even if it's their own server. And I think that's the issue, is that it's like we can do it.
Using up more of their server power, isn't it? Because at the moment the PTU is limited to 24. And it's kind of like that. They've got limited amount of servers that they're using. So to put the hangars on as well, it means everybody's hangars are going to have to be stored on the server.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I wanted to touch on real quickly is specifically, what do you guys think is going to be coming at Gamescom?
I think Star Marines. If they're going to bring that out in 2.6, I think it's probably I don't know. It could be something that they could easily show off because we've already seen them playing it. And I don't know. At one point, they was almost like saying this is nearly ready. So it's definitely something they could easily demo, and it's on its own little server, isn't it?
It would be a wise marketing deal to show Star Marine on Gamescom to get new players interested in into Star Citizen. And I think that they are far further along with Star Marine than we already know.
Because if they're showing off like the PTU on there, there's potential for crashes and bugs and things like that. Whereas at least the Star Marine may well be able to host sort of on a dedicated server, so it would maybe less crashy. Maybe, I don't know.
How about you, Hawk?
They will certainly show procedural planets again. And I think they said that they will reveal a new ship that we never heard
Right, I
before.
forgot about that. Yeah, like a brand new ship that's not even been discussed before.
Yes.
Yeah.
New concept sale.
So,
But which one?
Well, I think they will show a part of Squadron 42.
you think they're going to show like a slice, like a vertical
Or
slice?
characters, or I don't know, like the last years.
I think it will be the CitizenCon, not the Gamescom.
Yeah.
Well, they could do some slideshows or
maybe.
some clips of it. Not necessarily gameplay.
Maybe a new character.
Yeah, maybe like because they like Gillian Anderson's character or something like that. Some sort of things they've done with the interviews. But they're also going to be in Cologne, so it's going to be a little bit easier for those actors who live in Europe and specifically in the UK to make it over there. It'd be easier for them to get it from UK to Cologne than it would be for them to go from UK to LA. So we might also see discussions from. Gosh, we've already done John Rice Davies. They've done Mark Hamill, and they've done Gary Oldman. I'm trying to think of who else. Maybe Mark Strong. Maybe they might have something with Mark Strong or something like that, or Liam Cunningham. You know.
Oh, I would love Liam Cunningham.
I think everyone.
Yeah, I mean they're showing a little picture of him, haven't they? So
yeah, and they have already showed a little
Yeah.
picture of him, so that may be it. They may be
Yeah.
and I mean, it is just off of that like last season of Game of Thrones hype, so it's good timing to show it off. So and to bring him in and
He should have time. Maybe they have some special guests even.
Yeah, we are.
I would be a bit more skeptical about what they're going to be showing us at Gamescom, because I think it's only very recently they decided that, wow, procedural planets have come along so well, we have to show you. So that's why there's going to be this presentation. So I think for the presentation part of the Gamescom thing, the one where you could have bought tickets in the weekend for, I think that's going to be mostly procedural planets showcasing and stuff like that. And then maybe on the press floor, you'll be able to actually do the procedural planet stuff. But then there's going to be another show floor where the booth is. And I think that stuff, they've decided what was going to be there a long time ago, and it might not have anything to do with procedural planets. So I'm thinking for that, it might just be, as I think Hawk mentioned, what is it, like Arena Star Marine? I don't know about, I mean, and he also mentioned that they're going to be showcasing a new ship. For Gamescom, I don't think that whatever ship they do showcase is going to be like a, like an Argo, like a small ship. I think if they want to showcase something that no one has seen before, it's going to be a big ship, because Gamescom is one of those, high exposure events where, like, you can really wow people. That's why I think that it's going to be very Star Marine focused, at least for the public, and then a big ship like a capital ship or something, really cool, as opposed to a small ship like a Terrapin or something.
They did.
I suppose it could easily be something from Squadron 42 because their ships are made, right? So
yeah. With Squadron 42 coming very soon.
Techno said in chat the Polaris could be it.
Well, the thing is, they kept emphasizing this was a ship that no one has even heard of before.
Yes.
And we do know that there are a bunch of ships that were listed on some of those whiteboards in some of the ATVs that were kind of different, like the 600i, the Origin 600 series,
right?
The
right.
The
Terrapin you said already.
And
when you mention, sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say, when you mention, like, a ship that no one has ever heard of before, do you mean no one has ever officially heard of
they've
before?
never talked about it, is what they said.
In that case, it could be something from the leak, as opposed to something that no one has actually ever heard of before.
Oh yeah, they could be showing off.
Maybe.
Retribution.
Yeah, the Retribution. It could be the Retribution. Now they have talked about the Retribution, though. That's the only thing. It's like they've mentioned it, but they haven't talked about it. So it could be the Retribution. I think that would be a perfect timing too, just because I know that Squadron 42 is going to, or Gamescom's going to be more Squadron 42 focused, or not Gamescom, CitizenCon will be more Squadron 42 focused. I'm sure we'll get a new trailer, an official release date, then all that kind of stuff. But with Gamescom, that'd be a great way of showing up, because that is like Lemire, like just as you said, it's like it's a WoW ship. It's the size of like two king ships put together, just giant railgun. That would be just fantastic to show off the final Retribution.
It might be too soon for Gamescom, at least.
Go ahead, Huck.
I mean, for the ship, I think it may be a concept of the little carrier ship, like they said, job ship, like the prospector for the miner, and other ship like that for other jobs.
Oh, so like the support carrier. Like they've talked about the support carrier before, but they've never really showed it off. And then we know it exists, the escort carrier.
Yes, the Pegasus.
Yeah, the Pegasus. They talked about it, but they've never really.
They show it.
Did they show it?
Only on the link.
Yeah.
It was only.
No. Before, if I remember, they show photo 2 years ago for Christmas.
Oh.
Oh yes.
Yes.
On the live of yes.
They may have.
Indeed.
That still may be it, also, because that's also something that would be in Squadron 42, and it'd be something that they can show off and still possibly sell, because it's in that size range of the destroyer range, if I remember correctly. It's not.
Or maybe just a bundle ship.
Yeah, could also just be another ship like that.
2 weeks to know.
Yeah, 2 weeks to know. We'll figure it out in 2 weeks. I am kind of jealous of you guys who are actually going to be there. So, just make sure to liquor up all the CIG devs and get all the information from them.
We tried that at BrittisonCon, it didn't work.
That's because you tried it against Brian Chambers. It's like he's
That's true. Plus, we were drunk before we even tried to get him drunk, so it didn't work.
The plan failed at the first hurdle. Yeah.
It did.
Let me get you a drink. No, I've gotten you a drink. Oh, okay then. Well, I'll
Yeah.
try. Can't ask questions.
I think Bite Marks was a plant.
Oh god.
No, not everyone knows him. Paul, I think we haven't talked about procedural planets at all.
We can talk about procedural planets because I'm
we saw them in the PC games, but I think we didn't see everything, and they mentioned they played a part of it at least, and I think that will still be mind blowing when we see that on the floor or in the presentation. I mean, so I'm still hyped for it. You know, an additional ship right now for me wouldn't be that much of a big deal, but procedural planets for me would be really awesome to see.
I mean, I'm still convinced that what they'll do is they'll have the 4 streamers come on to show off the Caterpillar. They'll fight, do some sort of multi-crew stuff in the Caterpillar. And then
that's a good point.
And then land on a planet, get out on the planet, take 4 dragonflies, and kind of travel around the ground. And we talked about this a couple of Captain's Tables ago, where it's like travel on the ground and to get to a point where they have to fight a bunch of Vanduul on the ground, and then they'll just end the play right there. So it kind of leads you into the Squadron 42 side of things, but it still shows you kind of ground combat and ground movement and all that kind of stuff. I think that would be a good like E3 style demo that they could do with the streamers involved. So
yeah, Aster, that's a really good point, because all this time, like, you know, after they mentioned that they were going to be bringing streamers in, like, I was thinking, so what are they going to be doing there? You know, like, are they just going to be on the show floor, like, you know, showing people Star Citizen and, you know, just generally, like engaging with people and, you know, explaining the game? But you make a good point, because in all the previous demonstrations, they've had people from the studios showing off the game, you know, and doing their kind of thing. But it's an interesting element having 4 people who, you know, just spend every single waking moment playing the game and talking to people and chatting around and, you know, actually like live playing the game. It just clicked that that's probably what they're going to be doing, and it's just kind of interesting. So hopefully there will be like a really like huge like gameplay scenario they'll be playing, and, you know, people like go crazy about.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably absolutely insane. Like what I probably just said probably may not happen at all, but like in my mind, that's a good way of kind of transitioning from PU to talking about Squadron 42 in the future, because, you know, this is the like Gamescom's going to be about persistent universe. It's going to be about the procedural planets. It's going to be about Star Marine. It's going to be about maybe even some of the mechanics. I mean, I even discussed, because they said that the cargo mechanics is they're shooting to put that in by 2.7. So maybe we'll talk about the cargo mechanics. Maybe they'll have some little like vid show or like a little video that they show about it, or demonstration of how it works.
What about opening up the system as well? Different places to go to.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Let me. I linked all you guys in the Discord. I linked you guys the direct link for the questions and answers. So in case someone asks a question in a different language, if you guys who are just watching this and you guys would like to ask any questions, please do add your question, ! Question in chat. We'll give you the link. You click that link, and it's just sends you to a place where you put in your name and your question, submit it, and it goes to a form that we can read. And the one thing I will add before we continue on to that is, did you guys see that interview with Chris Roberts that they did, the video interview?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Was there anything that you guys pulled from that?
It was way too short, as always.
As always.
More Chris Roberts.
More Chris Roberts.
I think give him 1 more hour, and he would given us the steps for 2.8 and 2.9 as well.
That's what I was just going to say. Leave him too long and he'll just spill all the beans. Who needs booze?
Give us everything.
This is what's actually going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, man. The one thing that I did pull from that was actual gameplay, like kind of information games, or information for the game that we hadn't heard before, is the new concept for the instancing system. That they've kind of abandoned the instancing system. They're going for something different. That can support thousands of players in one local area.
It's
but
probably
is it...
different layers of servers.
Yes.
They probably still have smaller instances, which is one server or one virtual machine, but they are a multitude of them connected to a super server, to the game server, basically.
Do you think, because like they talked about a while ago the nesting system where they had like a large instance that would cover like a huge section of space, and as that instance got filled up, they would split that instance into separate different servers, and each of those separate servers would hold the maximum number per instance, but you could still see the people around you, and if say the server next to you was full and yours has like 1 or 2 empty, and one of those ships could fly from that instance to your instance seamlessly and still be able to see the battles going on, but the server itself is managing each little area with its own kind of core.
It doesn't necessarily have to be that each instance just talks about its own content, but it's more like a spider web that each instance on a global level connects to the game server and overall, and the instances communicate with each other, I think, to make transitions possible. It's not just a plain spatial separation of instances. I would think.
Now, do you think
a little bit more complex?
Do you think with 2.7 we're going to get more people, like more players per server?
I really hope so.
They could test that. Yeah,
that's the only thing.
If they fix the current netcode issues, otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
I
think that's the purpose that's kind of the purpose of 2.7 is to fix the netcode issues. Yes, you add planets, all that kind of stuff, but you can't do that with the current netcode. Like you could probably plop in procedural planets, which you get like 2 frames a second because of the how the netcode works.
Right.
So.
Yes.
And then they at least could need or have to test it once they go for a full Stanton system, for example.
Yeah.
Right. They already mentioned they were doing internal tests with. Brian Chambers did that in ATV, I think, a couple of weeks ago. They are already doing tests with a full Stanton system with multiple planets. So,
do you think they would expand the Stanton system before expanding the amount of people on the server, or do you think the amount of people would come first?
They could do it either way, I think.
It will be a very fast
what is ready
area
first.
Was that
Because you could open it up to more people on the server, but then as soon as you start adding more systems in, you may then like leapfrog back into issues of too many.
They probably have to test both areas because right now, if you just add more planets, it's just they could test more instancing communication, but if you add more players, you could test more netcode level. So I think that those different areas of testing.
What were you saying, Hawk?
No, I agree.
Sorry, lots of people were talking at the same time, so I want to make sure everyone got their word in. Now, they have talked about merging all the servers together in the near future. They talked about that a couple of months ago, and they said that was still probably in the distant future. Do you think that will be kind of like a temporary fix for what we're dealing with right now? Like having like there's the server will be around Olisar, and then there'll be a server around Korea, and a server around com array 556, and so on and so forth. Do you think like that's how they're going to do it, or do you like? How do you guys think that they're going to? Because there's got to be a step between we're all in 24-player servers to we're in a massive universe.
Well, I think that from the interview, the latest one that Chris Roberts was on, he mentioned something about 1,000 players in the same instance or something random like that. I mean, I think what he means by that is that it's gonna feel like there's 1,000 players in the same instance where you don't choose your instance. But let's say you want to go to Port Olisar. What happens is that you're in Port Olisar. Maybe there are 5 other people, and then like 20 other people can come to Port Olisar. Maybe 40 other people can come to Port Olisar, and it's just getting more crammed and more crammed. And then like let's say like the 65th person comes into Port Olisar. That's when another server will then pick up the load, and then that 65th person will be on their own server doing their own thing. And then when somebody leaves, then basically I feel like how they've mentioned the servers, how that system will be happening is that the servers basically will be juggling players around to make it seem like they don't have to change server. And then like let's say you're in the same friend list or party as somebody else, then the servers will try and cater to that and keep you within that same group. I believe that's how they've mentioned it was happening before. But
yeah, they've never said that they plan to have every single person being able to be in the same place at once. They said it's basically, well, you could all be on Port Olisar, but like you just said, it's based on your interaction with other people, whether you group with them, whether you're on their friends list, and it basically calculates all these sort of things to put them in the same way. The same way as that's what they said, if you're going to get griefers, they'll try and push them away into a different server as well. So.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they're all still on the main. Another Pokemon. They're all still on the same kind of. We're all still on the same universe server, but I mean, like there's like I said, there's probably going to be a step between all of us going into the universe server and getting to that point, and where we are now. So
but also it needs to make sense for the gameplay. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have 1,000 players or 100 players spawn in Port Olisar in the same location, basically on the same physical, or well, not physical, but on the same port, because it only has so many rooms to spawn into, and so many landing pads. So I guess there still needs to be a differentiation between player base, to split them up on different Port Olisar in parallel universes.
Overall, you're not going to necessarily have everybody in the same spot at once, so it's it would work out reasonable enough for them to split the servers. Although that will come to a slight problem when you say, like we've got this Operation Pitchfork that we were talking about earlier, is that if everybody wants to be part of that battle and you can't all get in the same server at the same spot, that's when you're going to get some tricky with the netcode and grouping issue, because if it's only people on your friends list, you can't all share that same battle.
There will be multiple pitchforks.
Yeah.
Well, multiple
many
points
prongs to the pitchfork.
Yes.
There we are.
I mean, I think that's to a degree is how that's gonna work in the long run. The last major question I have for you guys, if you guys have any other kind of things you want to bring up, feel free to, is with the current roadmap going forward, do you think Squadron 42 is going to be out by the end of this year?
Of course, yes.
Yes.
Everyone thinks it's going to be
They have to. They have
It's
to.
episodic.
For Christmas.
Yes.
It's episodic.
Shaking your head, no.
from seeing a lot of the stuff recently, I'm a lot more confident that they'll do. I'm more confident that they'll do that. I still have this feeling in the back of my head though that they're just not going to make that date. They're not going to make the cutoff of December. But I have I'm hoping they do.
Every time you see like that damage state, it makes you start believing it and thinking, oh, well,
yeah, but it's not a damage state. It's kind of like an R&D thing. That's the thing. It's like you look at it and you're going, oh, it's amazing, and then you look at it and you realize, oh, that's not actually the damage state. That's just them figuring out how to do lighting and other things for damage states that they haven't implemented yet. So
from my perspective, it is a business decision to have Squadron 42 out by the end of the year.
So you think,
for example, for the Christmas season, So
you think, come hell or high water, no matter how bad the game is in terms of bugs?
I think that's their top priority right now. Yes.
Okay.
Business-wise, marketing-wise, I mean, to get more players, to get more backing, that's the biggest concern. Basically, the PU can grow in a slower pace. That's not a problem, I think. It doesn't matter if it's just the first quarter of next year or second quarter of next year, but
the difficulty of releasing. The difficulty of releasing Squadron 42 unfinished is that's meant to be a single-player complete game, whereas with the persistent universe, you can kind of patch that as it's going along. You can't. Yeah. Well, okay, game developers do go back and patch a game that's just released, but technically, this is supposed to be the finished article, so you can't just push it out regardless of what state it's in. It needs to be a kind of finished state.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Squadron 42 is different from Star Citizen because it is a single-player game. And as Shigeru Miyamoto once said, a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed one is forever bad.
I think it could eventually be good, but a rushed one is forever bad.
Yeah, a rushed game is forever bad. And it's single player. So, that's what people are going to see. And sure, there could be a patch to fix this, to fix that, to fix the other. But at the end of the day, it's the initial kind of experience that people are going to be talking about. I mean, I would hate for this game to be rushed and get, Assassin's Creed style hate in the first couple of weeks.
The nightmare fuel that was Assassin's Creed Unity. Oh God.
Yeah.
Those bugs.
But they're not going to want to spend all this time developing it and then rush it out at the last minute just for the sake of hitting a deadline.
That's why that's kind of a luxury that CIG have had without having a publisher. Is that they've never had to rush to meet deadlines. But I mean, if they don't get it in before Christmas, then they're losing out on significant sales, etc. So it'll be beneficial for them and for us as backers and quote unquote producers of the game.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it may release it, but they reserve the right to delay it, and I think they may have to delay it because if they release it and it's buggy, that could cause more problems because it'll Squadron 42 literally is the linchpin in which Star Citizen going forward will have to succeed or fail. If Squadron 42 does okay, Star Citizen's fine. If it does really good, Star Citizen's a mega hit. If it does terrible, then and it gets trashed to hell, then Star Citizen is maybe released still. I don't doubt that it'll get out, but it will end up probably not being the scope that they want it to be.
Squadron 42 is definitely going to have the big impact of what people think towards Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm. The Star Citizen will be finished, but it'll be the difference between having 1 million players and 7 million players playing Star Citizen. So we'll see.
Paul, you got way more experience with games in general than I personally have. So how do you have a comparison to? Do you have something to compare Squadron 42 to other games? What levels you could expect from it?
Mass Effect,
for example. Okay.
Yeah, I would say that Squadron 42 is the level of Mass Effect in terms of its fidelity and in terms of the interaction system. I think it's more complicated because it's also got the flying mechanics and all the other stuff. But yes, Mass Effect. And if you look at Mass Effect was delayed. The Mass Effect was supposed to come out at the end of this year, and they delayed it because they're like, we need more time to work on it. So,
Yeah, as I said, I mean, when I said it's their top priority, of course they want to get it done and do it right. But that's, I mean, all the people of those nearly 400 people, most of them are working on Squadron 42 in one or the other way. So I think if they can get it right by the end of the year, they will publish it, and that is the aim of Chris Roberts as well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously set the date, so they're going to do everything in their power to get it out within that release date. Because obviously they know either way it's going to impact them. Bringing out a buggy game is going to impact them, but they've got to work out which is worse: bringing out a buggy game and completely like smashing people's expectations and possibly affecting Star Citizen, or delaying the release. You've got to try and balance it, haven't you? And hopefully get it all out, and it's working fine.
Yeah, I mean, they have that, like, literally they've got the missions plotted out. They have the missions plotted out. They have it gray box. They have everything placed in. They have work in progress and placeholders in there. So they've been playing the game for game mechanics for a while now. Like Xylo has said that he played the entire campaign of Squadron 42 already several times. It's just not done.
Damn him.
Yeah. So. All right, so I'm going to go to the questions, guys. If you guys have questions for the cast, please do hit exclamation point question. If you would like to ask a question in, if you're, from France or from French-speaking country or from a German-speaking country or from an English-speaking country, and, not American English-speaking country, but, that fancy other English-speaking country, feel free to ask it in your own native tongue, and we'll do our best to translate, because we think we all have access to this. So... the first question comes from Not Grey-Headed Gamer, as is tradition. If the Astropub made its own beer, what style would it be and what would it be called? It would be a dark ale, and it would be called the Black.
The Black.
Into the blackness. Take a sip.
I approve.
Next question
Be a
comes...
strong one.
A strong one, yes. It would be... Like it'd be a malt liquor. It'd just be malt liquor. Yeah, only served in 40-ounce bottles. It's the only way it would be. So, Human Evil asks, where do you get the talking polar bear? Where are you from, Barry?
Barry is from Hoth, Yeah, he evaded all those jerky animals there, It's just from Face Rig that is probably the most character I liked. There were plenty more, but too many comical ones. And Barry just he's got the same size as me, I would say. same fat ass and but more fur.
So if those don't know, Tobtage is he does stream with Face Rig. That's what he's using right now, is Face Rig, which is his thing you can actually get on Steam. And actually, there's a few streamers.
It's not his real face?
No, that is his real face. He's just using...
That's my real nose. That's my real nose.
Next question comes from Dixie Boy. What are your views on ATV being more condensed into their info in only 20 minutes? Less is more? Do you want more, or do you want more fluff? Let's go again. This is a big one, so let's go around, and we'll start with Meyer and go counterclockwise. So Meyer, do you like the new format?
The new format of ATV is phenomenal. I think that they've managed to cram, in the 20-30 minutes that they have now, more stuff than they've put into the previous 4 or 5 around the verses. It's a lot more focused onto the different studios, and therefore they're allowed to give us more information and more of what we want. I think that many backers and subscribers were kind of feeling a bit itchy that they weren't getting the money's worth. But I think that now they, I wouldn't mind being a subscriber now, given the production quality of the new Around the Verse and Reverse the Verse and what they're giving us. Hopefully they can keep it up. But it's really good, in my opinion.
And just for, what do you think? You can feel free to respond in French as well, if because I know someone's asking what we're talking about. So.
Well, but we got that question when we make our program before.
Yeah.
So the answer is that I think is better now because before was not too much information. There was always the same. Was not. I don't know how to explain, but now is more condensed, focus, and is more interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So you like the new format, Jesser?
Sorry.
You like the new format? Is what you're saying?
Yes, I like the new format. Yes.
How about you, Hawk?
Same like Jessica and my friend here. The new format is better, more information. The last one, to resume, it was time they changed the format.
Yeah.
It was boring. The whole one was really boring. There were no information, or the same information repeat and repeat again. No, it's really great. We know what they're working on for now, not what they will do in the future, in 6 or 8 months. What they're doing now and what is coming soon. That's cool.
How about you, Miserable?
Yeah, pretty much what everybody else is saying. For me, I've not seen anybody that said they don't like the new format, and it's not so much the compactness, but I definitely think that being able to visually see what they're all getting up to is showing us a lot more information than they could ever do by the time you've listened to them for 5 minutes talking about what they're doing, you've kind of lost track of what they're trying to get across. So being able to actually see them do it and showing it off, and obviously interviewing the specific people in the team, they know what they're talking about because they've been working on it. So you definitely feel like you get a much better lot of information from that person. So overall, yeah, definitely think it's a lot better format.
How about you, Toby?
The thing is about information density. I think if you looked at previous ATV and especially RTV, you spent an hour and didn't get zilch out of new information for what we want as a backer or player. And now we get 20 minutes, and those 20 minutes can be packed full of information and things that they didn't want to share before. And if that continues, I'm very happy with that. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, as a whole, how do you guys feel about RTV?
Old RTV was kind of like a reality TV show with some Star Citizen, and that wasn't really my cup of tea. It was, it was never really that interesting to me, because I'd rather just read the INN kind of like a transcript where they have Star Citizen related things in bold. But I think that many members of the community really liked the whole kind of like getting to know each and every one of these people, getting to know Justin, getting to know, and following that. So I know that many people are missing that, and maybe they could bring it back in some kind of way, call it something else.
As we were talking earlier, like we're missing the discussions of Barbershop. From
oh no,
maybe just follow the devs on Twitter.
But yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that did anybody not like?
I think overall, most people tune in to listen to Star Citizen information. As much as people like to get to know the devs and things like that a little bit, overall, most people want more info. They want more information from what they've just seen on ATV. They want that expanded and explained. So yeah, that's why people like the INN, because it get rid of all the other bit in between about what they ate yesterday, and have a look at what they've actually been talking about.
I don't see why they couldn't bring it back. As in, just don't call it Reverse the Verse. Call it something else. Yeah. Bring back the old cast and let them do
you could have just meet the devs, couldn't you, or something like that, and just have a feature of discussing, meet them. Yeah, not
because I know he does it in his own time, but Disco Lando does use the CIG stream to stream Red Dead Redemption or other things, and talk to the community that way. I mean, they could do the same thing. Sure, it wouldn't be called RTV and it wouldn't be funded by the subscribers, but if they wanted to, they could still do it.
Yeah, that's a big part. I think where the subscriber base is probably also having second thoughts. Why? I mean, I love all the guys, and but if I am backing basically the RTV show as well, then I would like to be would like it to be more specific to Star Citizen, and not just some strange talk about movies or something like that.
So to you, it's a good change.
Yes. I mean, if it's every 2 weeks or once a month to get all the crew together and have a nice talk, sure, but not every week.
Yeah,
1 hour.
Little overload.
I think that was the problem, is that they were kind of running out of things to discuss. So that's why you started going into,
And there's a lot of stuff they can't talk about. Like in those things, it was like, yeah, we can't talk about this, we can't talk about that. Like there would be a freaking Banu Merchantman question every week. Where's the Banu Merchantman? Where's the Banu Merchantman? It became a joke, or the Carrick, yeah. But so it was nice that they could change that up a little bit.
I mean, they did try to put some segments into the show at least. Where's my ship or something like that, and so on, to give it at least a little bit of structure. That was a first step, I would say. But I mean, the content-wise, they need to talk to the actual developers, designers, engineers, etc., to get content from them. Yeah,
and having them do it once a month and rotating it around the different studios, I think works really well, because we'll be able to see, like, how often did we hear information from Frankfurt? Like, almost never. It's like Brian Chambers would do his weekly, like, oh, yep, we're working on this, we're working on that, and then we're still working on this, still working on that, and so now they get to wait a month to get all the stuff done, and then they can just be like, here's all the stuff, and then they'll have an RTV where you can actually talk with the developers and they can answer questions and such like that. That's big. It's huge. I think that's
they got plenty of time to build up what they actually want to show off as well. So when they actually show that information off, it's going to be a lot more specific.
Yeah, and we're seeing it every week. It's not like new stuff every week rather than before. And the RTV focusing on describing the ATV, like without the RTV this week, we wouldn't know that the damage states are not fully in. That's just kind of like the from between 1 and 10, 1 being perfect and 10 being completely wrecked. That's the 10. So they have the 1 and 10 states, and then you have to kind of get the states between to implement it. But it's still a good kind of a way that we can get more information out there. Next question comes from Headclot. Do you think that the larger ships, Idris, Bengal, Javelin, etc., there is a possibility for hackable flight recorders, black boxes, and or personal journals as content to find out how a ship was destroyed by its former crew?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why not?
Why not? Didn't they? I'm sure they said something about having a kind of black box that could tell you that sort of information, did they? Maybe not.
Yeah, well, the problem I have with that is that it means that they're going to have to go for specific, or it'll be super generic audio. Like, how many times have we done the ICC? How many times have we all done the ICC missions and been like listening to the hey Jenny, can you come back and whip us something up hot?
Hey Jenny!
Yeah, it's just like, how many times have we heard that line to the point where it's becoming a meme inside the community? And that's what we'd be getting. Like, if this ship was crashed because some derp was driving drunk behind the wheel, or this was attacked by Bandul, it would be the same black box recording, because they can't make a new one for every procedure.
But is that what they just mean? Is it if they say you come across a wreck? Is that what the person's asking? Do they just mean, can you go in there and find out, this was blown up by a player, or this was blown up by the Vandal, rather than an audio cue?
I mean, kind of like what they were asking. Data,
yeah, just so you can kind of tell, pirates boarded this and blew it up or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would like to think that big wrecks like this will be few enough that they would be able to actually tailor actual lore pieces for them. Right now, what we have in Crusader is just this one small mission chain. But when the game is actually out in the persistence PU, the persistent universe, you're not going to repeat these singular chains. They're going to be things that happen once, hopefully, and never happen again. So with these large ships, your organization discovers a Bengal and sends a team down to explore it. To me, those should be very rare things. If a team finds a completely irreparable Bengal, and they explore it, to me, it should be such a huge event that they could write about it, they could stream it and stuff like that, and then people would be like, wow, that's really cool. And in that case, then you'd be able to find all these things, and then but on the smaller scale, with I think that with missions, it is at the end of the day, it is a massive multiplayer online game. So I think that the same way with the what is it, like the Gundo Kovalex thing, with that quest chain, you have all these data pads telling you stuff. I think that for these other things, like with the emergent ships and stuff like that, that data pads might be the way forward for that. Otherwise, it'd be too much. And like,
I agree.
with all the money that's gone into the game.
You're saying about those wrecks being rare, but then how would like player? Do you think they're going to be so? Like if a player had like an Idris that turned into a wreck, and we could like take it apart for scrap. Could you?
Right.
Are these other ones going to be like untouchable for some odd reason? Why a reclaimer couldn't come and take that into scrap? Because otherwise, if they're rare, they're going to just disappear when people start salvaging them apart.
I would think that they would still be salvageable, but it would be up to you to, like, first of all go inside and see what you can make of it before you use a ship to break it down.
So you're saying wrecks could disappear quite easily?
I don't think that the server would make a wreck despawn. I don't think that they would want it to go that way, especially with the larger ships. That's what the reclaimers and stuff are for.
You could probably take something out of the wreck, or
actually,
parts of it with a crucible or something like that, or but not despawn it completely or remove it completely.
I would like to hope with the whole subsumption thing that with wrecks like that, let's say there is a despawn timer for like a Hornet that gets blown up. I would like to think that with subsumption, the server would just spawn a crew of NPC like reclaimers to go and like, break it apart that way, as opposed to making it just disappear.
Yeah, no, the other thing that I wanted to bring up is, and this is another one of those round the table things I want to ask, starting with Tobatej, do you think that a Bengal can actually be salvaged? Like, can you not salvaged, but like repaired and flown in game, or is it more likely that they're going to be kind of like interesting points to salvage from?
So I already understood that they can be captured, but you cannot own it, right?
Yeah.
So then you will have probably quite a limited use of it, because that ship won't be alone in its area. I think it's like a fly going to the light. I mean,
I'm talking about like wrecked Bengals.
A wrecked one.
So like if you find a Bengal that's derelict in
well, I mean, what I would like and what the game predicts might be two different points. What kind of gameplay can you do with it? From my point of perspective, I don't think it would make sense to have it completely recycled or something like that. There has to be a purpose for it. If it's a wreck and it stays, and you can take parts of it, and then, like the booze on Korea, it just pops in every 10 minutes or so, or some piratey missions take it back from pirates or NPCs or something like that. So they need to be some gameplay behind it. Otherwise, it's just a prop.
How about you, Miserable? What do you think?
I think it would possibly depend on the wreck itself. So say if it was planet side and it was split in two halves, maybe you couldn't drag that away to repair it. But I'd like to think that if it was in space, like say just Yellow for instance, then maybe an organization could get enough ships to actually get over to it, repair it, claim it, and then eventually fix it up and get the the engines running and everything else, and then fly it.
So you think
that would be excellent gameplay?
You think that it will be flyable? That you could, like, maybe if you found one that was just sort of derelict, not like broken in half, that you could actually eventually fix it up and fly it?
I think it would be a good mechanic if they could do that. It would be nice, but it again, from the size of the ship and how things are going to repair, it's very difficult. I mean, it could take you a long time to repair something like that. Especially when they're saying that you got hand tools to repair everything, because when we were showing like the inside of the Idris, are you going to go through and literally with a little hammer and repair every single panel, or is there going to be some way to do some mass kind of repair system on it? Because if you imagine getting inside one of those huge ships and repairing everything by walkway is gonna, yeah. I mean, that could be a year's project, I suppose.
How about you, Hawk? What do you think?
First, I think that repairing a wreckage Bengal, will be very, very hard for the vast majority of organization. That will be only at the end of vast organization, very big organization, or very big alliance, coalition, or whatever. But the purpose of the ship is a good question. Yes, it can be an organization ship, a big base, a big station mobile for RP meetings and all those kind of things. But there a question that I ask myself: what happens if you come in the UAE, in the territory, with a Bengal? It's a military ship, even if it was a wreckage.
Yeah.
If you find a tank, an armor, or even a carrier, or even a military ship, a wreck, in the real life, if you can repair it, and if you rearm it, I don't think the military will look you with a good eyes.
Yeah, if you're driving a tank into downtown major city anywhere in the world, you're probably going to get attacked. Without question.
Exactly.
So yeah, no. So how about you?
Pirates don't care about that though.
Well, it depends. I could see pirates if a pirate organization had fixed up a Bengal to just jump it into like a system, just to say, like, let's see how long it can survive, or let's just see how many people we can piss off, and then like 5 seconds we're here, and then jump away.
There could be multiple or opposite missions.
I mean, that would cause a large splash. It should spawn tons of missions if like a pirate Bengal shows up in the middle of like Terra, like that. Imagine the chaos and confusion it would cause in the system suddenly if, like, oh, wow, there's a super carrier filled with pirates right out of the side of a civilized space, like right inside of civilized space. What are we going to do? How about you, Jesper? What do you think the overall purpose of the Bengal is going to be, like, in-game? For, like, player-owned, I should say.
Really depending of the size of your organization, because for me, it's more a trap. That's other thing. Waste your time making that ship flying is not good idea for me.
How about you, Meyer?
I agree with Jessica, to be honest. I mean, it depends on the size of your organization and what they can do. Like, if your organization's been around in Star Citizen for a long time and you have a lot of members who have a lot of resources, then yeah, sure, you can feasibly kind of like put together a Bengal, make it fly again, and make it do its thing. But I would like for the option to see a Bengal, and then, like, let's say your organization of 40 people have this Bengal's location, on their own, just for themselves. They could do one of two things. Either sell the location of the Bengal to a larger organization, or do Operation Screw the Bengal and logistically tear it apart. I would hope that the game would have the resources for you to go about things several different ways. So instead of just putting it together, why not take it apart and get all these really rare materials and stuff from the Bengal and destroy it completely into its bare parts? Wow. I mean, yeah, the Bengal is supposed to be very rare in the game, but it's still a game. So the server can go, oh no, they've destroyed the Bengal. Let's respawn another one somewhere else, I mean, why can't it do that?
No, I agree. And I actually, because I had a discussion last night, and I think I agree with that sentiment, is that more than likely the Bengal will be less liable to be an actual flyable ship. I think it'll cost too much money, too much time for you to actually be repairing it. So that more than likely what will happen is people will use Bengals as super rare salvage. Like, can you imagine, like, the size of the jump drives on the Bengal? Can you think about how much money a Bengal's jump drives would get on the black market? We're talking...
I just want the railgun.
Yeah, I mean, the railgun alone, that Idris-sized turret. Like, think about that. Like
I just want the Aurora that's parked on it.
Most valuable ship, yeah.
Of course.
Oh God, what is it?
How many?
I think the best thing to do for Bengal I think the best thing to do with a Bengal is to bring a hull E and to remove all the ship inside.
Yeah, just disassemble it and put it in your whole E. Yeah.
Chairs and desk and office furniture.
Oh, all right. So next question comes from
Paul?
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw in one answer. I won't be a space stripper. Just want to make sure. I just wanted to say that right now.
You don't want to be a space stripper, or you do want to be a space stripper?
No.
No, you don't want to be
It's
a
going to
space
be a
stripper.
planet side one.
Headclot asks, do you think Capture the Idris mode, game mode, will make its appearance at Gamescom with Star Marine?
No.
No.
No, it was for Arena Commander. The first time it was for. It was not for Star Marine.
It was going to be Capture the Idris mode. Remember the like, yeah, I think they were going to do it for 2.0 or 3.0 was the...
When we will arrive, when Squadron 42 will arrive too.
Yeah, I think
They
so.
will not show Idris before. That is sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I think that'll probably be like an expansion to Star Marine. Like when Squadron 42 comes out, they'll have like Capture the Idris mode where you'll have an Idris which you have to fight over or something like that. Because the Idris alone is a battlefield map. So
That's not easy because even if the Idris is done for Squadron 42, that not necessarily mean that it is done for the multi-crew.
yeah, but I mean just for like Star Marine, just for the FPS thing. Like you wouldn't be able to control any of this stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think they, like you said, I don't think they want to show it off before Squadron 42 because it's spoilers of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done the walk around tour slightly, but I don't think they want to fully show it off.
There's lots of places we haven't been to. We've been to like the major highlights. We haven't been even into the mess hall or to the bunks or to the armory or to the flight deck or anything else like that. We've just kind of seen the highlights. Next question comes from Cyberwolf74. Have you seen the new Shroud of the Avatar Star Citizen cross promotion pledges? A battle blimp home and some crazy aviator cap with goggles. I have. I have heard bad things about Shroud of the Avatar though. So, have any of you guys played it?
Never heard of it.
It's the one that's
no.
being made by Lord British. It's his essentially like attempt to make Ultima, like remake Ultima Online. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Some of the stuff looks pretty cool, but I've heard some bad things about the game, so I've been staying away from
We've all
it.
gone quiet as we Google it. That's all.
Yeah, it was on the subreddit there for a bit. But yeah, it's like a giant like steampunk style home that's also a blimp. And like it's kind of modeled after the goggles that the flight crew wear on the Idris. That's kind of like a steampunk style goggles that has the Star Citizen logo on it.
It looks interesting.
That's a very good word to use.
Next question comes from Wizman. Now that they work on atmospheric flight, what about the ejection seat? Because we don't have a parachute yet, and EVA can't work the same way on planets.
Splat.
Good question. You die.
You die, yeah. just be like a Drake pilot. You don't need to be. Drake pilots don't need ejection seats. That's
Just try it once.
Yeah.
It's like going out the airlock without your spacesuit on.
Yeah. Raytheon 2 asks, how soon before we see all servers linked as one universe? Do you think they will limit the number of servers they're running until release, limiting the number of players online at the same time? So that's kind of links to the question that I asked before. It was like, when do you guys think we'll get that single universe build
For
up?
the beta.
For beta?
Oh yes, not before. I don't think so.
Hawk?
It's good.
Same thing for the beta.
How about you, Miserable?
Yeah, I think it's going to be after Squadron 42 sometime to be that merged together, I think.
Toby?
Yeah, after 42, yeah.
Meyer?
Whenever they fix everything else.
When it's done.
No one questions. Come on.
Oh God. CIG said the proprietary update system should be this summer. Your guess is 2.5, 2.6, or later? I think he's talking about like the update, so you don't have to download the whole damn client every time you update the patch. When do you think that?
The sooner the better.
Yeah, when it's done.
Yeah,
I don't
to the 2.7.
think 2.7.
Yeah, it's probably not that easy, even if they are doing preliminary tests internally. But I think they will need more time for that.
It's very difficult to guess back-end like stuff like that. Just being a backer like everybody else, to be honest. I mean, like, you just give your guesses, I guess. So.
It's also not something they'd hold back. It's not like something like, oh yeah, we have to wait till it's done, and we have to do like once done, it's done. They'll just implement it at the next patch they have. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar to the MFA. It just popped up in the browser or in the launcher, and then on the website. There was no real, warning. This is coming soon.
Yeah.
They may introduce it it could be next week.
I think they're working on it.
We don't know.
It's basically when it's ready, isn't it? I mean, because they want it just as much, because they don't want to keep sending the data across. So.
It's expensive, yeah. Raytheon2 asks, do you think they will use the Evocati to further test Squadron 42 before release? I think no.
I think yes.
I think no too, because we are too much leaked before.
Parts of it, possibly.
I mean, like
parts of it, possibly, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd get to test the whole thing. No.
I don't think.
I think maybe parts.
I don't even think the Evocati will get Squadron 42 access at all. Maybe some very select Evocati whom they really trust and like to use, but as it stands right now,
it might be an opt-in system, because many of the Evocati might not want to be spoiled neither. So it's a split decision.
I mean, being Evocati isn't as glamorous as most people would think. How I think they would go about doing Evocati testing for Squadron 42 they wouldn't just dump the entire game on you and say, hey, yo, test this game. They would probably say, okay, our QA guys who are paying to do all the testing would like more people to be testing this one mechanic. We've uploaded this one part of this one scene. Keep playing this until your eyes bleed. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's going to be more directed, I think, specific to specific parts of gameplay, maybe.
Yeah. The thing is, they don't need, because it's like the single player game, they don't need to worry about the netcode and the effects of others. They don't need a mass group to test it as much as they would the other parts. So yeah, I think we're less, unless there's like a bug that they need to throw numbers at it, I think there's less likely to see it, I suppose.
I'm going to skip that Kek Ravesh, because I think Tobitej's already answered that. He just asks, what's the story behind the polar bear? And I think he already said it. It's that it's face rig and all that kind of stuff.
It just suits me.
It just suits him. Oh, you got a Pokemon
I've been
hatching?
sitting here for the past hour. Whoa, it's a Rhyhorn! Oh my god! Okay, sorry.
And we've lost Meyer for the rest of the stream. He's done. Let's see. Do you foresee a rush to buy new PC hardware with the release of Squadron 42 Star Citizen with millions of upgrade to be able to play, especially with the new Pascal 1080s out? Yes and no, because I think Meyer's hatching another egg. Ooh,
another one, a Sandshrew. Yo, okay. Sorry. All my eggs are hatching. I've been sitting here all day. Like, what's going on?
His eggs are hatching. Oh my god.
Mother.
I think a lot of people are waiting to upgrade their PC, waiting for the release of Squadron 42 before upgrading the PC. So I suppose there's going to be quite a few people that do that. I don't think everybody's going to need to upgrade, because there's already quite a few people playing with quite pumped up PCs already.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was using, like, the rig I'm streaming from right now was what I was using for a long time, which is just a 670 and an i7 380 something. So, and it's like a 4-year-old computer, and it was running Star Citizen on low pretty easily without being any optimizations happening.
Put it away, Toby.
But I don't think a lot of people will have to, and I think the key for them is to make sure it's optimized well enough that it can run on medium rigs. I think a lot of people who have the money will want to upgrade it, or they'll be like, oh, I'll get this game because I just upgraded my PC to just be monster rig, so I'm gonna get this new game that's supposedly really, really hard on graphics. But I think they'll do kind of optimizations for both, probably. Next question comes from Kochma. Do you think the goons will return upon release of Star Citizen? The goons didn't leave.
Yeah.
They're
They're still here.
like
Yeah. See, yeah.
like it just all. And what people don't know is that goons are just the name that people use who will play video games from who get together from the Something Awful forums. Just like Test, the original version of Test, are just the name of people who got together to play video games from Reddit. That's all it is. Like Test is the gaming group that comes from Reddit, and the goons are the gaming group that comes from Something Awful forums. So it's easy for us to lump goons into a huge pool, but in reality, like Scott Manley's a goon. Dublar Thackeray was a goon. Like there are people who are goons who aren't goons or even in the goon organizations, and there's going to be multiple probably goon organizations down the road. But I'm sure that some of the people who have left Star Citizen, not just goons, but people who have just decided not to, got rid of their ships or whatever, they'll probably come back when Star Citizen is released, just because the fact that they backed it in the first place proves that they have some interest in this kind of style of game. So
yeah, I mean, like there are people who are goons who are really as into the game as we are. Like it's such a huge community. They're going to be many houses. It just so happens to be that they have a very vocal group in there who are against Star Citizen, and it kind of helps that they're called goons, and goon. The word goon you equate to people who are goons.
Thugs or
it works.
Yeah.
It works.
So next question comes from Matt Smith. What do you think about the damage demos they showed off? I think Toby is still waiting for his pants to be cleaned from that.
Yeah, he's looking for them now. I think
Hawk said
No
that
pants.
he's still wet from the experience.
Exactly.
It's amazing. Like we talked about that in depth. It's ridiculous. It's awesome, and I can't wait to see it in action. I can't wait to crawl through a derelict Idris looking for some salvage, or looking for maybe a missing person or something like that, like survivors on a ship. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I think I may be odd, but I actually prefer. I feel more like I want to see a derelict ship than I do a pristine Idris.
I agree. I think a pristine Idris is boring compared to the character of a damaged Idris, because you can sit there and think of this beam fell down. It's like, what caused this beam to fall down? Why did we? How are these and also the concept of being able to repair that stuff and bringing it back online is kind of cool too. Kochman asks, recently CIG has shown us derelict Idris. What do you guys think about the puddles and sprinklers will still work when the gravity generator fails or the Atmo is vented?
I don't think so. I think they said they were working on the fruits on 0G, no?
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, it's just not in yet. And I think to a lot of degrees, I think the water they'll probably not have the water going if 0G happens, because the one thing you can think about a sprinkler system, the sprinkler system works great if there's gravity. If there's no gravity, then a sprinkler system is useless because it doesn't spray water out everywhere. So more than likely, there's probably they can hand wave it and say automated systems inside the Idris would probably show that the water's off or the gravity's off. So don't use the water the sprinkler system. Use
unless it's broke.
Unless it's broke, and then you have just puddles. If that's the case, you probably just have puddles of floating.
Just puddles of water in the air hitting your face. It's like swimming as you're going through.
I'd love to see that though, like little globules of water just kind of floating around. It'd be kind of cool. Raytheon asks, "Who's waiting for the next 10? Who's waiting for the next 10 for Disco's dad?" I think we all.
I'm waiting for the next 10 quickfire round from Brian.
Oh god. Wizman asks, "What do you think they're going to talk about the Intel ship at Gamescom?" The Intel ship. This news to me. Intel's doing a ship. What?
Should be the Herald, no?
Yeah. Oh, I think he's talking
Yes.
about the intelligence ship, like the Herald.
Yeah.
My thought was Intel ship.
makes
That'd actually be a great thing. There you go, Intel. Sponsor Star Citizen, so you can get a Herald variant for you.
Give it a Herald.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, Intel ship. I know AMD has a ship. I don't think that they're going to go the way. I mean, why not? Personally, I would love to see a McDonald's ship, but they.
A McDonald's ship.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit though. I think we said most of it. We don't know what kind of ship
Paul?
they're bringing out. Yeah.
About the Idris on Gamescom, how much do you expect the props there to actually display a real Idris bridge?
Oh, I think it'll be 100%.
Gonna be.
I think it'll be. I think it'll be 1-to-1. Like I think it's going to be pretty real. And I think the consoles will probably be like tablets that they'll install so you can mess around and kind of do some search on Star Citizen. Maybe just visit the forums or see like little bits of information about the ships and stuff.
I thought Twerk would just sit somewhere there and then stream from there.
Yeah, he is. There's like the center console where the captain sits is where they're going to be streaming. There's actually going to be it'll be up there. So he's going to be.
Yeah, it's only be one stream at a time. Disco said on one streamer a while ago. So they are not all streaming at the same time. There will be only one stream.
Yep, and that's the reason why they chose the streamers that they did. Partially, I'm sure, is that Twerk usually streams in the morning my time, in the afternoon or in early morning my time, like mid-afternoon in GMT, and then Baron usually streams just a little bit after him, and then DJ usually streams a little bit after him, and but Captain Richard streams usually after him, and then rotate back to Twerk. So it's that kind of it works because their schedules are lined up like that naturally, so it makes sense to kind of have that rotation still going. Next question comes from Kochman. How do you guys think the 45-degree angled blast shields on the Idris flight deck work? The blast shields.
The blast shield?
Oh,
In Karak, yes, but not in Idris.
it's like because I think the flight deck. I think he's talking about the
Where was
bridge?
it mentioned?
Oh, for the taking off of the ships.
Oh yeah. It's got that angled. I think. That
Yeah, I think it's that.
I would
Oh,
need a picture, I have
inside!
No idea.
I think it
So-
opens up. I think the front opens up like there's two parts and there's one part that opens up to the top and it kind of opens up entirely. I think that's how it's supposed to work.
Like for the Carrack?
Yeah, kind of like how the Carrack works in the front. Like cause it kind of opens up twice. Because it's kind of like how if you've seen like the troop transports like that Marine forces usually use, where it kind of goes up goes up to a beach and then it opens up. And then it has space for you to drive the vehicles off. I think that's kind of how it's going to look. I think they've shown some of the concept images of that. So, and it's even in the Meet the Old Man video. They show it opening it up.
Oh right, yeah.
Go ahead.
So you mean the hangar blast door opening and
Yeah.
stuff? I mean, I reckon it will work the exact same way Grim Hex. They intend that to work in the future, where your ship goes there, you press a button to hail it, and then the server goes, "Oh, okay, he's hailing." And if there's a free space, then you'll be able to go through. I don't see how else it would work. The same way with I think the new Reliant versions. They're meant to have these rooms where you should be able to change your clothes. I don't see why they wouldn't work any way different from how you can change your clothes in like Port Olisar already.
Yeah. Next question comes from Mituachi. He asks, not sure if this has been asked here, but here it goes. Okay. Do you think we will get some type of occupational gameplay mechanics such as cargo repair? Oh, and such cargo, repair, salvaging, etc. before or with 2.7. If not, are you concerned that if 2.7 patch drops and gives us procedural planets and we still don't have cargo, some of the other gameplay mechanics that we may get bored with testing alpha after the shiny wears off? Didn't they say that cargo is coming in 2.7? The PC games article.
Maybe.
They definitely talked about.
They said the
certain parts
next.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, they said it in the PC games article, didn't they? That's one of the
Says
things.
the next gameplay will arrive, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's the next thing that they're going to be adding in.
They speak about the salvaging, but not with the ships, only by hand with the character.
Yeah,
the salvage gun.
Yeah, but I think they said they were going to get the cargo in first. And
yes, the cargo in first.
And the PC Games article said that they were trying to get the cargo in, and trading mechanics in with 2.7. So yes. I don't know. So
hopefully.
I think if it's not in 2.7, it'll be in 2.7.1 or 2.8. You know, it'll be dropping shortly after that.
I mean, I hope in the meantime they'll add more text-based missions anyway, just to stop things from getting stale now. I mean, I hope that they do implement some text-based missions when Grim Hex comes out, because otherwise, you know, in terms of just, you know, being, I mean, not even necessarily being a streamer and doing the same thing every single day, but, you know, with this being an alpha, there are aspects of the game that they want people to try more than others, and so I hope that when Grim Hex does come out, they'll have missions to kind of point you in the directions of where they want things tested, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, it will run the risk of getting stale way before 2.7 comes out.
Yeah, I agree. Next question comes from Mituachi. As a Star Citizen becomes more persistent and Alpha moves into always online state instead of instant style gameplay, how do each of you think stream sniping will affect your streaming, and how do you plan on dealing with it?
Arena Commander.
I plan on dealing with it by stripping naked and just waving my cock around, being like, "Come at me, you bastards!" and see if that gets me banned off Twitch.
Like every Friday.
Yeah, every Friday, just normal Friday. Yeah.
I'll just fly in Aurora and say, well, you know, who's going to come off worse here?
Hawk, you stream more than just the podcast, right? Your podcast?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you plan on dealing with stream snipers in the future?
Kill them all.
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe more RP, roleplay.
Oh, more roleplay. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like roleplay would be a good way to do it. I mean, sure, there are times when you don't want to be intercepted and stuff like that. Hopefully, there will be ways of going about it so you don't fall into too many player interactions, or you can kind of just hide your name or something like that to kind of like protect you a little bit. Otherwise, roleplay would work, like pretending that you're like a high-value target that everyone wants to blow up for no apparent reason. So, like, you know, you could even make it like a stream game, like, you know, hey, it's you know, like Catch Meyer Monday or something like that, and like, you know, so the guy who, you know, catches my ship and you know makes me hostage and doesn't kill me gets, you know, so and so prize. So if you do kill me, then you know you've screwed up. You're not winning anything. So it kind of gives people incentive to not ruin your day and kill your character. But we'll have to see. When...
Well, I like that actually brings up the point. Something that I've had real good fun with this last week was I brought back my Hitchhiker's Day, and where I forced myself to sneak on ships to travel wherever I'm going to go. And that's the kind of thing I think that streamers will start coming up with, is things that aren't necessarily traditional. I'm in my ship, I'm going to do a mission, I'm going to go do this and come back, sort of thing, and more. Let's see how crazy we can get with our gameplay, like Hunt Meyer Monday, or you know, Tobatage Tuesdays, where you know Toby's just hanging out in some place and he has to like, you have to like tase Toby and then bring him in to a certain place and feed him a bunch of sardines or something like that. Right? I don't know, like some
holy
weird...
shit! What are you talking about?
We're talking about some very kinky gameplay. That's what we're talking about.
I think your mods are going to have an extra job to do. They won't be just modding chat. They'll have to come and escort you as well and kill the stream snipers.
I think that's possibly going to happen.
One thing about against stream snipers is having a good community in chat that are willing to join you in game and
defend you to the death.
Combat the defend oneself. You know, that's the best part. I've been have had multiple streams with people joining me on Discord and in game as well. And it was always fun to have a wingman on the stream. That's the best thing to have.
Yeah, stream
sniping when they're not shooting you in the back.
The other thing is that stream sniping requires you to know exactly where somebody is at a certain time,
exactly.
And the larger the gameplay universe is, I would basically have to pull up my map, and they would have to know exactly those coordinates are. And if it's in the middle of nowhere space, it's going to be a lot more difficult for them to find me to kill me. And if they take the time to hunt down and find me and kill me, then to a degree, good on them. They spent a lot of time watching my stream to get to that point. So yeah, thanks for the views. There
is also one thing would be just display your different layer scene when you're jumping, and then go back to the game.
Exactly, like they do that with like I've seen like survival games like DayZ do that. Streamers do that where they hide their server information when they jump into a server, or they like have a different scene and it swaps out. So
right. Like
right.
A loading stream.
Yeah. Next question comes from the Snake'em. Is how each one of you see your place as representatives in your own communities, as information's relay, like it's to relay information, in a game where you'd be permitted to stream directly inside in an RP way, with a Reliant using stream, for example. Will you use the RP opportunity all the way, or will you separate your role as representative as from a gamer way, the way to play that game? So I think it's like the question is like, do you think we're gonna be more RP in the universe, or are we gonna be more kind of treated as a game? Let's start with Mark.
I'm not traditionally an RPer, so I'll just play it as I play it. And if I do stream things in the My Reliant, then I will stream things in My Reliant. But
what is with these people? Every time they come onto the table, it's just like someone's like, "Oh, I gotta sit here and play Pokemon." It's like they're surrounded by Pokemon. I have to like walk 10 kilometers to be able to get a freaking Rattata, and here you guys are catching it sitting down. How about you, Jesper?
Now I don't know. Finally, we will see that.
Do you think you're more RP or more just gameplay?
Personally, I don't like too much to play RP. Real RP, I can say. Voilà. So I think more gameplay.
More gameplay. How about you, Hawk?
I would say a mix of the two. I really like roleplay. I lead an organization, and I have to make some roleplay for the members who make roleplay, who love roleplay, and people like the guys, they are just affair who don't like roleplay. You don't like anything. I will have to make some things more informative and less RP, but I think I will try to make a mix of the two, to find a balance.
Find a good balance. How about you, Miserable?
I think it's probably more like maybe the balance. It may depend a little bit on, I suppose, who you're streaming to and what they're interested in as well. So if they're trying to do some form of roleplay with you in the game content that you're showing, then maybe you'll head more down that way. But I've done both in the past. I've done role-playing and I've done just normal gaming, so I think it'd probably be a mix of the two.
How about you, Toby?
Yes, exactly. What was the question? No,
where's my pants gone?
Toby's playing. He's just sitting there playing Pokemon Go. This is what he's doing.
I was planning having beers with Mac on Gamescom. No, really. I probably go more for the missions and the gameplay then.
To more gameplay than RP.
Yes.
The nature of running a space bar. For those who don't know, one of my plans is to actually take my Bandit Merchantment and convert it into a bar where you can go visit and buy beer and alcohol and do missions or do negotiations between different players and that kind of stuff. I'm probably going to have to do some RP. Like, that's just going to have to happen. But I think it's going to be RP in this game is going to be a little bit more as part of gameplay, because when you're talking about doing a trade deal, you don't have to be like, forsooth, my friend, let us conduct commerce. It's going to be, all right, man, we're going to do some trading. Like, what do you want? This is what I got. This is what you want. And so it doesn't have to be super like, I'm a pirate on the edge of the universe. It's like, you are a pirate on the edge of the universe. Like, that's the game. Like, that's what you're playing. It doesn't have to do with role play. That's what you're doing. So act like a pirate at the edge of the universe. Act like a trader, because that's what you have to do when you're dealing with other people. So I think to a degree the game itself is going to force an RP because the game itself is forcing it. The mechanics are more immersive. So I hope probably a mixture of the two, but more than likely I'm thinking that it'll be pushed. Just all of us, the gameplay and RP will just kind of blend together. The next question comes from Koshman. In the far future, how would you feel about the Expanse total conversion for Star Citizen? Sign me up. I don't know. Have you guys seen the Expanse?
Of course, yeah. It's awesome.
Waiting season 2.
Best sci-fi.
Can you explain to people who haven't seen it what total conversion is?
Okay, total conversion is taking a game that was built for single purpose and replacing all of the models to that of something else. So, for instance, if you've seen the Free Space 2 conversion to Battlestar Galactica, I think it's called Diaspora. It uses Free Space 2 as its base engine, but it's essentially its own game. They've replaced all the models of the in-game fighters with the Vipers from Battlestar Galactica.
Okay, that would be cool, but I would much rather a Star Trek one first.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Oh, yes!
I think Star Wars and Star Trek are going to be the first ones that go out, though.
Really not for now.
What's that?
Really far future, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking, let's get the game out first, kind of situation.
Yeah.
Wizman asks, with all the hype about Star Marine and procedural stuff, they haven't talked about what's coming for shopping and selling experience in 2.6 and 2.7.
No, they haven't.
They haven't, and I think that has a lot to do with...
correct.
I think that has to do with UI, though, honestly. Like,
yeah.
It has less to do with, because it's in the game. Like, shopping and selling, mostly in the game already. It's just a matter of getting the UI to work properly and probably subsumption.
I suppose maybe they're asking more on the elements of... I was going to say maybe like buying and selling ship parts or something with the credits rather than just clothing.
Yeah, or like instead of picking up the booze bottles in game and just getting an instant AUEC, you have to actually pick them up and carry them to Port Alsar and sell them for salvage.
Just imagine someone with 10 bottles of whiskey running around security posts trying not to get shot.
I can imagine some dude walking into Grimhex with like it's like a crate of whiskey in his back. It's like, what do you do? I'm selling nothing. Nothing's in here. It's Teletubbies. I'm like
empty bottle collector.
Yeah, just bottle. Being a hobo, a space hobo, with nothing but like recyclables, going through the trash, pulling stuff out to sell it.
Once those mechanics do come in, like the inventory mechanics, I mean, they've given us the ability to loot stuff and get money for them. But right now, it's very gamified in the Baby PU. You go there, you pick up some alcohol, and bam, you instantly have money. Once they give you the ability to actually sell stuff and to look in your inventory and stuff like that, I wouldn't be too surprised if you would have to take your bottles, your salvage, back to Port Olisar or Grimhex and sell them. So I think that would be an interesting gameplay mechanic, How long can I stay, salvaging things in Yella or security post Korea before somebody kills me and I drop everything, or and how much money can I get in one haul and that kind of thing. And I think that would be an interesting gameplay mechanic to have, even pre-cargo.
Because it would be kind of cargo anyways, because you'd have to be. Yeah. You'd also have to kind of have a loot system where you have to be able to like look through someone's stuff and get what they have. So
yeah, and then the question would be how big can your inventory be, etc.
Mm-hmm. And I think they've even talked about the inventory being more container based. So like if you're gonna have, like you might have to actually have like a backpack or some sort of things that you're carrying with you so that you can put in there.
Too surprised. Yeah.
Because like I don't see any pockets in those flight suits. Those are those suits are a little too tight. You can see a little bit too much in those suits, or as it is. So I don't think there's any space where you can stick a bottle of whiskey in, unless you're going in places you don't want to try to pull out from at the end of the day. Question from Mituachi: when the PU goes live, do each of you plan on streaming more Star Citizen, or will you favor enjoying the game off air?
I already play nothing but Star Citizen, so that question's kind of moot.
I probably play nothing but Star Citizen, honestly. I mean, I'll play other games off air, but I'll play Star Citizen online or on stream most of the time, sure.
I might try No Man's Sky. I bought it, so I will try it at least.
Oh no, I'm going to play No Man's Sky when it comes out, but like I think
they were saying when PU's live, we're not quite there for PU being live.
Yeah.
Not PU, sorry, the actual live server.
Yeah, when the Star Citizen's officially released.
I imagine if everybody's kind of streaming it now, then they're going to stream it more when it's released.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the last question of the evening from Kochma. How important is capitulation mechanic and like capitulation mechanic?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Capitulation?
Maybe surrender.
It's like surrender.
Until dead.
Yeah.
Ultimate.
Against pirates or other parties, you mean? Like, I give up? Or what?
Yeah. And would you put it on the hotkey? I think, yeah, I mean, I think there really does need to be, like, look at games like that DayZ does it really well, and I think there are other games that do it really well with his, you put your hands up and you surrender, then so another person can walk up and can actually access your inventory without having to, like, knock you out or kill you to access your inventory. It makes it so that it's much easier to have a passive or less violent interactions with people. You can still have pirates doing their pirate things, but no one has to get hurt. And they might steal stuff from you, or they might have to disarm you from it. But it's not a.
I would have thought it'd be quite a key mechanic if you're going to want bounty hunters to sort of collect people alive rather than killing everybody.
Yeah, that too. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming in. Yes?
I had one more question.
What's that?
And one more question into the round. How far you guys see the 40 landing zones? How far out you see those coming in?
Pretty far out.
2.7. Not 2. I'm sorry, 2.8.
2.7.
Well, you're talking about Stanton only, right?
Well,
I think you mean in distance, wasn't you?
Oh, you're talking about distance, or you're talking about like how far out, like in terms of release?
No. I mean really, the landing zones within Stanton. How many we will get, for example, till the end of the year, for example.
Oh, by the end of the year? I think we'll probably get about half of those, if not more, because a lot of those landing zones, I'm sure, are just like space truck stops, like Olisars
and Cryastros, right?
Yeah. So, but they have to space them out a little bit, and I'm sure there's going to be like travel centers where you can stop and you can get refuel, but it's not just crash. You can get out and you can go into a store and buy gear or whatever you need to buy. Maybe buy replacement weapons or something like that, or buy replacement parts. I think that's kind of how it's going to happen.
Oh, each class is a location, okay? So yeah, but isn't that just copy and paste?
Yeah, a lot of those are going to be copy and paste. So that's why I don't think it's going to be too bad. Like the big landing zones, which are like Area 18, Microtech, Hurston, and Crusader. I think those will take a little bit longer to get in, and there may be more like we may have more than just Area 18 for for Arc Core. We might have several different landing zones on Arc Core, but it'll depend on like how long, like what do they need to really work on in the long run. So, all right.
Something in your background.
It's just someone
You got a dog?
The studio's haunted.
Alrighty. Oh, you're talking about the someone's building they're building a house next door. That's the nature of San Francisco properties, is that they took a shed, they knocked down an old shed, and they're building a house on that plot. So they can make more money. So thank you guys again for showing up. We're going to go around, starting with Tobatej. Go ahead, Toby. Who are you? Where can they find you? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm Tobatej. Mostly Barry the polar bear on Tobatej on Twitch, Tobatej on YouTube, and Tobatej on Twitter. I'm usually streaming at 8 p.m. European time, and on the weekends, even other times are possible.
How about you?
And I just made 600 followers. Whew.
Nice, congratulations.
Thanks.
Miserable. How about you?
I'm Miserable, and I'm a Miserable_G on Twitch, and I think just Miserable on YouTube. I do some videos on there. I stream mostly Tuesday and Wednesday mornings in the UK time, and I also do late night, evening creative streams. Maybe playing some games during there as well. So and either Miserable or Miserable_G, you can find me there.
Alrighty. And Hawk, who are you? Where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere. In Twitch at 306 Oak, on YouTube on SPN, and on our website on Star Pirates period FR.
And Jesper, how about you? Where can they find you? Who are you? Where can they find you? All that kind of stuff.
You can find me with Hawk.
With Hawk?
No. Yes, I'm a member of the team of Hawk.
Excellent. And Meyer, who are you? Where can they find you?
Hey, my name is Meyer from Test Gaming. That's my stream team, or the stream team I'm a member of anyway. You can find me on the links I posted in chat. That's twitch.tv/Meyer_test. You can also catch me on Twitter and YouTube under those two links as well. I'm working with Finnish Feather and Astropub, among other people, with a community project called Bulkheads, which is a machinima series based in the Star Citizen universe. You can find out more about that in that link.
Yeah. And I would like to point out that Hawk and Jesper run it's a French-based podcast called, Star Pirates News Network or something like that? And then when is that? That's like 5, starts at like 5, 6 your time, or?
In our time, it's 9 p.m.
So it's like 19 to 11 sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's, for those of you in the U.S., that is 5 p.m. Eastern, which is about...
5, right.
4 p.m. Eastern, which is about 1 p.m. Pacific. So, again, thank you for everyone who shows up. Thank you for everyone who asks questions. I apologize about some of the technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on with the computer. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please do follow all the people down below in the link. And like I say every day, hope to see you guys again soon. But if I don't, we hope to see you someday in the black. Have a good day, everybody.
Salut tout le monde.
Au revoir.
Bonne nuit.